The operating room lights flickered the moment Emma's heart stopped. Alarms shrieked, doctors shouted, and nurses rushed around her as if the entire world had descended into chaos. Her body shook, her chest heaved, and then, everything went dark. She never saw the silhouette that lingered near the back of the room. She never saw the woman she once trusted leaning over the incubator, nor the gloved hands that gently lifted her newborn twins before vanishing into the cold hospital hallway. When Emma finally opened her eyes again, she awoke not to the sound of her baby's crying, but to the quiet, trembling voice of a nurse whispering, "I'm so sorry, your babies, they're gone." Before we go deeper into this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the strength of a mother's heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps stories like this reach more people who need hope. Emma felt as if the world had been ripped from beneath her. She stared blankly at the ceiling, her hands instinctively reaching toward her belly, expecting to feel the gentle weight of her newborns. But the room was empty, cold, and painfully silent. She had delivered twins, tiny miracles she had waited for after years of heartbreak, after miscarriages, after endless nights praying for a family of her own. And now, gone, stolen. The words barely made sense. She struggled to breathe, gasping as her husband, Adrian, rushed into the room. The billionaire CEO, usually composed, powerful, and dominant in every boardroom, fell apart the moment he saw his wife. He dropped to his knees and held her trembling hands, his voice breaking as he tried to understand how his world had crumbled in minutes. But before doctors could explain, before investigators could even arrive, a single piece of evidence surfaced that changed everything. A nurse recalled seeing a woman in a red coat near the newborn ward. A woman with long dark hair, a woman who wasn't part of the staff. A woman Emma instantly recognized when the nurse described her. Adrian's former lover, his biggest mistake, the woman who had manipulated, lied, and threatened them both for months, Cassandra. Cassandra, the mistress, had always viewed Emma as the obstacle that ruined her fairy tale with Adrian. She had once been obsessed, convinced that the billionaire would choose her, marry her, and make her the mother of his heirs. But when Adrian walked away from her and reunited with Emma, Cassandra's obsession twisted into something darker, something vengeful. She disappeared for months, and they assumed she had finally moved on. But the truth was far more terrifying. She had been planning, watching, waiting. In the hours that followed, the hospital turned into a crime scene. FBI agents poured in through the doors, their radios buzzing, their boots thudding against the polished floors. Adrian didn't waste a second. He activated every resource he had: private security teams, surveillance experts, cybersecurity specialists, anyone who could help. Emma lay in her bed, numb, her heart shattered, her body aching. The physical pain of the C-section felt like nothing compared to the agony in her chest. Someone had taken her babies. Her babies. How was that real? Her mind replayed every moment leading up to the surgery. Cassandra's smirk during their last confrontation. Her cryptic threats. The unsettling sense that someone had been following her during her prenatal checkups. It all made horrifying sense now. As hours bled into the night, a storm rolled over the city. Lightning cracked across the sky as Adrian stood by a wall of surveillance screens, watching security footage from every possible angle. His jaw was clenched, his eyes red. The footage finally revealed her: the red coat, the stolen hospital badge, the black SUV idling outside. Cassandra had orchestrated everything. She had bribed a technician to shut down cameras at key moments. She had hacked into patient records. She had timed her entry around a shift change. The precision was chilling. And yet, she hadn't covered everything. A blurry frame showed a license plate. A partial image, incomplete, but enough. The FBI moved instantly. Meanwhile, Emma lay awake, staring at the ceiling as the monitors beeped beside her. Every minute felt like a lifetime. She imagined her baby's tiny faces, the warmth of their skin, the softness of their cries. She pictured them separated from her, alone, vulnerable, frightened. Tears streamed down her face. A nurse tried to comfort her, but nothing reached the numbness inside her. She had been marked by grief far deeper than words. Hours later, Adrian entered the room. He sat beside her quietly, his hands shaking. He wasn't the polished billionaire tonight. He wasn't the man admired by millions. He was a father begging heaven for mercy. He told Emma about the lead the FBI found, and the brief spark of hope flickered inside her. But fear strangled her just as quickly. What if they were too late? What if Cassandra harmed them? She had been unstable, unhinged, fueled by jealousy and delusions. A woman desperate enough to steal newborns, would she hurt them? The next 48 hours became a nightmare. The FBI chased Cassandra across state lines. She had ditched her car, switched disguises, and bribed people along the way. She wasn't working alone. Someone was helping her, friends from her past who owed her favors. Emma barely slept. Adrian barely ate. Every update felt like a punch to the gut. Whenever a lead went cold, Emma felt a piece of her soul fade. But then, a miracle. A truck driver reported seeing a woman matching Cassandra's description at a remote cabin near the mountains. Agents swarmed the area. Adrian insisted on going, but they restrained him. If she sees you, an agent warned, she might panic. And panic could be deadly. Adrian reluctantly agreed, but his heart raced with dread. Back in the cabin, Cassandra rocked the twins in her arms. She whispered stories to them, delusional fantasies where she was their real mother and Adrian would come running back to her once he realized Emma was out of the picture. She was unhinged. Her grip was too tight. Her whispers were too frantic. She was spiraling. When the FBI broke in, Cassandra screamed. She clutched the babies, threatening to harm herself, to harm them, to end everything. Agents negotiated, pleading, calming, easing her fears until, finally, she loosened her grip. A female agent stepped forward slowly, her hands open, her voice soft and steady. After an agonizing minute, Cassandra collapsed to the floor sobbing as the agent gently lifted the twins into her arms. The babies were safe, alive, unharmed. Adrian received the call at dawn. His knees buckled, his breath caught, he fell against the hospital wall, sobbing in relief. Emma, still recovering from surgery, trembled violently when she heard the news. She cried until her voice disappeared. When the babies arrived, escorted by agents, wrapped in warm blankets, the entire hospital gathered in silent awe. Emma held them close, her tears soaking their tiny hats. Adrian wrapped his arms around all three of them, his face buried in Emma's hair, whispering thank you over and over. But the story didn't end there. Healing was slow. Cassandra was taken into custody, but Emma struggled with the trauma, the memory of waking to an empty room, the fear that lingered every time the babies slept, the nightmares that woke her screaming. Adrian supported her endlessly, sleeping in a chair beside the crib, holding her hands through panic attacks, whispering reassurance whenever she broke down. They chose therapy. They leaned on family. They rebuilt trust in the world brick by brick. Over the months, their twins grew stronger, and so did they. Emma's smile slowly returned. Adrian's laughter came back. They transformed their pain into purpose, launching a foundation to strengthen hospital newborn security nationwide. Their story spread across the world, inspiring millions with the message that love, resilience, and hope can survive even the darkest storms. And as Emma rocked her babies one quiet night, she kissed their foreheads and whispered a promise that would echo through time. No matter what darkness tries to steal from us, love will always bring us back. If this story touched your heart, made you hold your breath, or reminded you of the strength of a mother's love, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us create more stories that inspire hope and courage. Special request. Before you go, comment, "Love always wins," to spread positivity and strength to others who need it.